Hello, good morning, MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. It is December 22, 2017, the last Feedback Friday of 2017, which is a nice segue to my first announcement that there will be no Feedback Friday next week as the office will be closed down. That is the 29th, December 29th. But we'll be back on January 5. I'm looking at a calendar to make sure I don't mess up those dates. So how's everybody in the chat doing today? Good morning. Hello. Hey, Dennis, Michelle, Eileen, hello. Ryan. Oh, it's Dave. Woo. Woo right back at you. Hello. Happy Friday, says Mutender. Happy Friday to you as well. Well, actually, today the office is closed, so you may have noticed that I am coming to you from my home office. Figured I'd do Feedback Friday, tie up a couple loose ends this morning, and take the afternoon off. But not too much planned here to go over in Feedback Friday. I think we'll get some feedback on the Great Winter Hunt. As I said, a quick announcement to start off was that there'll be no Feedback Friday next week, and I'll put up a ticker as well when we finish here. And another announcement, if you haven't noticed, the news post that is up, the King has conducted the annual gift opening ceremony. So hunters can now open gifts left under their profile trees and in their team stockings. Now, when you claim your gifts, you'll get a pop-up showing everything you got and who gave you which item. Unfortunately, we ran into a little technical challenge that didn't come up in testing because it was very related to the live database and the amount of gifting data that exists live. So once you close that window, unfortunately, there's no way to bring that back up. Our original intention was that you'd be able to go back to your profile, click a button, and see that same interface a second time. However, that didn't quite work. Giorgio very valiantly put some effort into trying to make that work for a good 90 minutes or so when we realized it's going to take a substantial amount of time to fix that up. So unfortunately, that went on the list of things to fix up for next year. But you may want to grab a quick screenshot if you haven't opened up your gifts already and you want to keep tabs on who gave you what, and your memory is anything like mine, which is extremely short. I get caught up on the chat a little bit here. Good evening. Hello. Somebody must be on the other side of the world. It's morning here. It's a snowy morning here in the Toronto area. I had to do some shoveling this morning. Ben's waiting for a rainbow racer. That's a bit of a side effect of there being so many winter hunt mice that they're all kind of difficult to encounter, or some of them anyway, with there being over 50. We did our best, at least for maps, to try to make it so the map mice are all at least 1 in 20 chance to encounter and leave out some of those lower encounter mice. Dennis says that he is loving the event, finally picking up the pace. Glad to see after, what are we, 2 weeks in now? Kind of start to see the snowball effect that starts building up as you start smashing the layers of the comet. Upgrade your golems. That lets you loot more explosive crackers, which means you can smash the comet faster to upgrade your golems, and you kind of pick up speed. Sally asks, why so early on the gift ceremony? Well, we like to do that before the office closes for the holidays, so we take a week off around Christmas, so we're off next week, and we do our best to avoid any sort of code pushes or changes so that nobody has to work on their holiday. So we tend to try to do it on pretty well the last day the office is open before Christmas. Ben asks, is that a 2018 Codex? I'll let hunters speculate. Yes, I am surrounded by many New Year's items. I will say all this has to do with the New Year's edition of the Great Winter Hunt, which will be coming next week. Let me look at a calendar again before I just spew lies. Yes, next week, towards the end of next week, so somewhere between Wednesday and Friday. And of course, there'll be a news post, so you can keep an eye open for that. Ben says, this event is by far one of the best. Glad to hear you're enjoying it. Seem to get similar feedback from a lot of hunters as well. We can see, too, people are they're hunting more often. There's more people playing, so that's usually a pretty good sign that people are having a good time as they're sounding their hunter's horn more. Irving said, I got a time split, ... charm. Yeah. Actually, I'm sending my golems to the Bristlewoods Rift myself. That's, I have to still build the, what is it called, the time split dissonance trap. So I'm stocking up on a whole bunch of runic cheese and things to help me there. And maybe I'll get lucky and find, I think I found a cog, at least. That'll help me out. But I was hoping to get lucky and find a time split rune. Can I send you 1,000 forgotten charms? I don't think that you can trade or gift those, actually. Yeah, there were quite a few forgotten charms from Zokor, so we kind of toned that down a little bit. You get more of the other things that the Minotaur drops, like ultimate luck, power. I believe there was an era where you would get the Rift Ultimate Lucky Power Charm. That was corrected, so it's the non-Rift version. So if you're an early person to send your golems to Zokor, you may have got lucky and got a Rift version instead of the normal. Three times hack golems, still no Zokor rare loot. Well, it is rare, so you may want to send at least one or two of your golems maybe to somewhere else, depending, because it is a long shot. So it's kind of nice. Like I might send every once in a while, I'll send one there or something when I get a hat from capturing the Naughty Nougat. But other than that, I like the Bristlewoods Rift is nice and consistent. I'm getting lots of runic cheese and stuff. The train is also a very good spot. You get good consistent loot to help you with the magmatic golem mouse, who's rather difficult to capture. Sally says it's the most fun event ever. I assume you mean ever. Glad to hear it. Arunth Paul, if I'm saying that right, said they like the toboggan race better. Well, it's kind of nice. We usually do something a little different for every great winter hunt. Skippo asks, will the snowball charm upgrade effect continue after the event? Yes. And you do not need to use the snowball charm with a festive trap to get the roll-up effect to happen, but obviously if you pair it with a festive trap, you get a nice power bonus, so it does kind of make sense. They synergize well. Write that one down as well. That's a good question. Will snowball charm roll up continue after event? Oh, Michelle says she got a rune. Well, I am jelly. We'll see. If I don't get a rune, I'm getting so much other great stuff to help me track down runes. Michael asks, what are Time Split Charms' special effect? No real special effect. They just have amazing stats. So they're a very nice charm. You can sell them on the marketplace, and they're also a rune sink. So if we ever get to the point where there are just way too many runes kicking around, there's always a consumable use for the rune to sort of make it so they don't just collect dust in your inventory if nobody wants them anymore. But that's years down the road, probably. Jin says they accidentally sent a hat golem to the warpath and came back with both console parts. That has to be some sort of critical strike in terms of luck, because the console parts are somewhat uncommon to find. So to get both from one golem, that is quite the lucky golem. Torah, if I pronounce your name right, says you started playing on December 12 and you're a knight now. Yes, the event is excellent for progression. All the mice are worth a pretty good amount of points. Especially the Naughty Nougat mouse. Every time you capture him, that'll really shoot up your title quite a bit. So it's great for getting a jump start on some of the early areas in the game. Sally says she got 4 ultimate charms. Congrats. I don't think I've found one of those. Any new traps for New Year's event? I don't believe so. I think, and don't quote me on this, but I think everything to do with New Year's might be on the screen. Actually, the New Year's mouse itself is not there. The base, this mysterious item, nope, this mysterious item over here, the camera's reversed, which may or may not be a codex. It certainly looks like a codex, though. And the 2018 charms as well, you'll be able to get your hands on them. Over there. They're up in the corner. When the New Year's event starts, you'll be able to send your golems to the actual festive comet itself, and they'll return with New Year's rewards, including this delicious, over here, this delicious party-looking nougat item as well. Another new New Year's mouse asks Dennis, no plans for a new New Year's mouse. There's already so many December event mice that weren't too motivated to add another one, so it'll just be the 3 existing. I believe this one, which was added, I keep pointing the wrong way. Nope, there we go. The window is over here. There we go. The mouse that we added last year, the Frightened Fireworks mouse, Over there is the Party Head mouse, which is a rather old mouse, was released quite a bit ago, and the original New Year's mouse as well, which was the first New Year's mouse. So there'll only be 3. They'll be added to the Festive Comet. They'll be attracted to Pecan Pecorino, and they have a chance of dropping golem parts. And actually, them being there will slightly increase the drop rate of golem parts by, I think, a couple percent anyway. Went a little bit mad trying to make them not affect anything whatsoever, but then couldn't quite get that to balance out right. So settled on making it a little bit better than a little bit worse. So they'll be there, but they won't affect your ability to collect golem parts. If anything, they'll boost it a little bit because there'll be 3 more mice that drop golem parts. Mutender asks, 2018 leprechauns. Well, they're always there. The leprechauns are always available, but during a King's giveaway, they're a little bit more abundant. Michael in the chat is speculating that that is a leprechaun codex. That would be quite an amazing reward. Although I don't know what that would do. Maybe its special effect of the codex is to drive leprechauns away from your trap. Then it would be a horrible reward, actually. Dylan asks about sending golems to the Festive Comet. Well, just mention if you're just joining us that the New Year's event will add that ability, and they will recover New Year's rewards, including 2018 charms, if you send them to the Comet. You may have noticed, actually, it slipped live for a little second there, because technically all the New Year's stuff is in the game right now, and we just have to flip a switch to turn it on. And the name of the Festive Comet did temporarily, very briefly, switch to the Festive Comet New Year's Party, but that was not intended till we actually flipped the switch. So there's one thing that slipped past the check to see if the switch was turned on and off for that. Kind of goes back to as well, we try to avoid doing big code pushes or releases while we're on holiday, which is why the gift opening ceremony was yesterday while we were still working. And that's why we built the New Year's event to be very kind of flip a switch. We've done plenty of dry runs for it, so we'll kind of be on call to make sure nothing goes wrong, but it should be fairly straightforward. Sharon says, New Year's Eve is your birthday. Well, that is a very late birthday. I bet you in your younger school years, that was, well, I don't know if frustrating is the right word, but you'd always be younger than everybody else, but happy birthday in advance. Just one more day and you would have been older than all the other kids in school the whole year. Louisa says, this year's Great Winter Hunt Trapsmith is very rich. I hope to be able to buy all the goods. Well, we did test it quite a bit using just Gouda, doing about 50 hunts a day, and you could just do it in time without doing any maps or without claiming your daily reward chests and things like that. So it should be comfortable as long as you're hunting. But make sure, do a map here. That'll really help. Make sure you're claiming your daily loyalty chest. You get 5 Pecan Pecorino in every chest, and over the course of 4 weeks of the event, that adds up to, I think, over 200 extra Pecan Pecorino. Ryan asks, will there be 2 Festive Comet areas then? It sounded like that. No, it'll still just be 1. It will be renamed to Festive Comet : New Year's Party, I believe, if I recall correctly. And you'll just be able to send golems there. So when you open up the golem interface to send a golem, there'll be a new spot. It has like some fireworks on it, and you can send it to the actual Festive Comet, and it'll recover 2018 charms. Why doesn't the stuck snowball mouse drop loot anymore? Well, the points and gold keep going up, but as it isn't sort of the core mouse to the event, it kind of stopped dropping loot. But that might be something fun to add next year, or update that. What other loot can we expect when we send golems to the Festive Comet, asks Joe. Well, primarily, I think 2018 charms are the exceptional items, so that's kind of the best, most consistent way of finding them. That's at all the New Year's mice. They also drop 2018 charms. Additionally, I believe they will bring back, let me double check. Let's actually look at this rather than try to recall from memory. Golem rewards. Special event location. Pecan Pecorino and Snowball Charms. The throwable snowballs, super snowballs, Winter Charms 2018 trinkets. The hat will have them bring back Super Brie or Let It Snow charms are in there, as well as all of the Festive Ultimate variety of charms. Ben asks, looking ahead to Lunar New Year, asking if the Lunar Lantern will return. I believe so. There was great feedback on that event, lots of positive feedback, so I think we'll be bringing it back. And if I recall correctly, you can collect candles to light a lunar lantern, and it will double almost every loop drop that you find. When will the winter hunt end? Asks Zyle Guilt. Let me just double check the calendar. I believe it is the 9th of January. Yes, Tuesday, January 9 is the end of the Great Winter Hunt. Actually, I have a little note here as well. I'm going to put up a ticker as soon as we're done Feedback Friday to just have that kind of rotating to get the word out there. I also have some wall posts scheduled on Facebook as the end date approaches to kind of remind people. Gift wrap charm, is it gift of the day exclusive? I believe the only way to get it is from somebody else. So it was, I don't think, yes, it's gift of the day exclusive. So it'll appear as a gift of the day. Sharon says, I'd like to have a few more of the non-pecan pecorino mice on the naughty maps. Well, it's a little tricky. There's a few of the Gouda, Super Brie, sort of standard cheese mice on the maps. But from the other perspective as well, if you really want to be collecting golden parts, sometimes it doesn't feel very fun to have to or consciously go back and sort of sabotage your event progress to finish the map. So with that in mind, we try to make the majority of them pecan pecorino mice. So that, if you're busy collecting golden parts, you don't feel like you need to disarm your event cheese. You can always kind of be putting all your effort into actually progressing through the event. So that's the mentality there, but maybe a few more, so the times where you're collecting cheese, at least there's a couple more mice you could scratch off the list. It's also rather tricky with maps. We did our best, but with there being so many Great Winter Hunt mice, we didn't want to include any mice that are too rare so that they would just feel like the map takes forever to complete. Will there be more skins for the Monstrobot? It's a good suggestion. No immediate plans, but over time we keep adding more skins. They're a nice sort of cosmetic thing where there can't really be too many of them. It's kind of nice to have lots to choose from. It's like opening up your closet and deciding what to wear for the day. This is lots of choice. Meteor Prison Core Trap needs a skin. That's an interesting suggestion. I believe that's the best in-game law, so I mean, typically we do like to have skins for some of the best in power type traps. What happened to passing parcels? They didn't quite turn out the way we wanted them to, so it was on the list again for something next year maybe to revise, but they just got a little bit spammy. There was kind of too many of them in the game where you'd get, oh good, I got another 50 passing parcels, now I gotta try to send these out. So something a little bit more focused I think would be more fun, and maybe the feedback would be a little bit better on them where you could actually see where they're going, and it's more of something you do every now and then between just sort of a special group of friends rather than just getting bombarded with dozens and dozens of these things that you can't get rid of as fast as you're getting them. That's it. If anybody has some, they still work, right? So they're kind of this rare thing still floating around until people take them out of the game. Finally able to open them. The polluted one is awesome but rare. I assume you're talking about the Monstrobot skin. Well, now with the toxic spill being a permanent location, you can work on that with a little bit more consistency. Will there be a Winter Olympic event? Don't really have any plans at the moment. Can't get Forgotten Charms, not in the marketplace. I don't believe you can trade Forgotten Charms. I don't think you can trade any of the other power type charms either. There's a Shadow and a Hydro one as well. Let me just double check. Computer's being a little slow while streaming. There is a Shadow charm. There is a Hydro charm. And there is a, don't forget about the Forgotten charm. There. Gotcha. What do we got here? Not tradable. Not tradable. Yes, we cannot trade any of those. Joe asks, can we expect golem parts from sending golems to the Festive Comet? No. Just the stuff to help you collect golem parts. Otherwise, it's a little odd if you you spend a resource to like get the same resource back. So typically that sort of kind of keeps things ebbing and flowing, creates kind of a little gameplay loop of where you do this to get different resource to do something else. There's a suggestion in the chat that's interesting. You can see what other hunters think as well. The ability to use the same skin on multiple traps, it's crossed our mind as well, but not quite, there's some interface work we'd have to do, and we weren't quite sure if it's a great idea. So for something like the Crow Monster Bot, if there was just Monster Bot skins, and then you could use your Crow Monster Bot or your Monster Bot skins on either version of the Monster Bot. I said Monster Bot a lot there. But obviously there's some existing skins that maybe kind of make that idea a little bit awkward, so it just didn't feel like a very turnkey idea, but it's crossed our mind before. Sally would love it. Gerald's asking how to collect uncollected presents. Unfortunately, we had a technical problem where there is no journal entry and there's no way to go and see the list again. So if you claimed them, they went in your inventory, but there's not like a receipt that you can view. As I said a little bit earlier, we kind of tried hard for a good 60 to 90 minutes trying to get that to work, but it became clear that it was going to be its own technical sprint, and we need some database maintenance in order to get that to reliably work. And so unfortunately that went on the list of things to fix for next year, but it just wouldn't be possible to do the database maintenance that we would need because we'd have to schedule downtime, and it's not a great time for the game to go down for a while we sort that out. So it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. So when you do claim your gifts, if you want to keep tabs on that, you may want to grab a quick screenshot of the interface, but I certainly agree that is not a very good way of doing that. But hopefully we can fix that up for next year. Allow skins to get Christmas bonuses. That's an interesting suggestion from Pixel Paint. I'd assume you mean with the snowball charms. You can pair a snowball charm with any festive themed trap and you get a nice big impressive power bonus. And actually if you're a higher level player, that's a bit of a good reward from the Great Winter Hunt this year, is if you use a festive trap, even though its stats may not be quite on par with another trap you have in your inventory, when you pair it with snowball charms, especially something like the ultimate snowball charm, you get a massive power bonus. And so until you run out of snowball charms, it may actually be better than some of the other traps you have in your inventory. So it's kind of a way of creating a best in power type reward from the event without it being an actual trap, because we're sort of at the point where the traps you get from the labyrinth and other really difficult areas are far too valuable to actually earn something comparable from an event that only lasts for a month, when there's traps in the game that might take you several months to earn. Gerald says, thanks, Merry Christmas. Same to you. Forgotten needs more luck. We'll get there, right? That's one of the power types that there's not too many areas in the game, so it kind of, unlike physical and tactical, sort of reach their plateau, even Hydro to a degree. Forgotten still has lots of room to grow, so there might be more Forgotten areas and more room to earn better and better traps, but I don't think we've reached the end-all be-all of Forgotten traps yet. Let me scroll up a bit here with a big grimace emoji. Will there be any new map piece to fill the void between the Lost City and the Forgotten Grove? Let me look at the map here. Or Forbidden Grove. Let me look at this full map. Oh, yeah, that white spot. No immediate plans. I think, where are we expanding to next? If I recall correctly here, and I'm nothing in stone here, but a very tentative plan from brainstorming. I'm just looking over at the map here. The bottom portion of the map is going to be filled out quite a bit in the at least in some short-term plans, but nothing slotted in for the area between Bristlewoods and the Sandtail Desert. Does a power bonus apply to high-level traps released during Great Winter Hunt? It has to be something specifically festive themed. I think a way to get a list of that. We are working on some inventory updates to kind of be able to sort those and show you a list of your winter traps, but it didn't quite turn out right. But that's still sort of kicking around on the to-do list. Yeah, see, it's a little tricky to actually track down that list. It might be easier for us just to publish a list somewhere, but they're usually all the traps that were a reward from the Great Winter Hunt, not necessarily a New Year's event, but the Great Winter Hunt itself. You could always arm a snowball charm, and you'll see in the trap selector will say your trap is getting a power bonus, and then you'll know, like, cool, the set effect is there. But the feedback could be much better to help you figure out which are paired with which, so it's not quite ideal. Any plan for tactical type in a higher rank area? Well, in the short term, at least one of the areas that we've been brainstorming and putting a little bit of design into, and it's not quite, for sure going to happen, but is an Archduke area that involves every single power type minus parental. At that time, we might retire the parental power type as well, like switch the nanny bot to another power type and say goodbye to the confusing thing that is parental power. But that would be a high-level area that would involve tactical along with every other power type. That's far too early. We've sort of done some very early concept work, but not even any prototyping to know for sure or go into any more detail. The Harrowing Holiday Harpoon Harp. I think Giorgio really loved that name as well. Hard to say, tongue-twisting alliteration. Has a 17 million point requirement, quite hard for new players. It is quite a good Draconic trap, so it has a high point requirement on it. But it'll certainly come in handy in Mosu Picchu while you're earning, or while you're working on another upgrade, or when you do have 17 million points, if you're working on a map going to Dracano, something like that, it'll certainly clean up in Dracano. Why does the train take such a horrible route to the castle? Taking the scenic route with a very totally safe looking jump at the end. I mean, that big pillow makes everything completely safe. Parental and law are kind of the same, says Ben. I guess a little bit. Could we implement pressing escape button to close certain interfaces? Some of them work, some of them don't. There's some technical challenges with the game is aging as it's approaching 10 years old, and there are some technical challenges to do some slightly more modern things with it. But no immediate plans to do that. I agree, that would be nice though. Is the New Horizon coming back? No, it is a limited edition trap. That said, we added the Winter Horizon, or what is it called? Go to Trapsmith here. The Trapsmith, where you can buy weapons. I'm sure somebody in the chat probably already said Infinite Winter Horizon trap already. It's very comparable to the New Horizon. So last year there was a little bit too much randomness in the event. It made it kind of tricky for everyone who put forth a whole lot of effort to find the New Horizon. So this year we added the Infinite Winter Horizon trap. There's a lot less randomness in this event, so it's much more predictable. It's comparable, not quite the same. I think there might still be some edge cases where you might want to use one over the other, but if you're looking for a similar arcane trap, you can spend 1 nougat, buy the Frozen Galaxy Event Horizon module, and upgrade your Event Horizon into the Infinite Winter Horizon. How can I get more nugget of nougat per nougat mouse? You cannot. The mouse only drops 1 every time you capture it. That said, as you start upgrading your golems, you start going through the comet faster and faster and faster. things really start to snowball. You'll get to the point where after you capture the Nougat mouse, you'll be at the start and you'll just instantly blast away like 5 or 6 layers and almost be right back at the boss again. So that kind of gets to that tipping point where you're really starting to snowball. Rakshit asks about adding LE items for sale. No, unfortunately, LE means when they're gone, they're gone. The Chrome kits that are in the marketplace are not LE, and Ronza does return with them from time to time. Someone's asking about the what the loot is for Bristlewood's Rift. Let me check. Bristlewood's Rift. The hat. You can get Clockwork Cogs, the Temporal Rune, although that's pretty rare. Temporal Fusion. Oh, that is a, what do we call that? I'm reading like the string identifiers, not the actual name of the item. And this is something that was renamed about 7 times before it came out. Time Split Charm, that's it. Quantum Quartz, Portal Scramblers, the Ultimate Luck Power and Luck Power Rift versions of those charms in the Exceptional slot. You cannot get a Time Split Rune, but you can get Cogs. You can get the Time Split Charm, the Scrambler, the Quartz, and the Rift Ultimate Luck Power and Lucky Power. Ryan asks, Temporal was I think there's at least a placeholder name in the design document for it. It was called a Temporal Fusion Charm, but it was renamed to a Time Split Charm to be sort of consistent with the runes and the trap and everything else. The Time Split Rune is lootable, asks Barney, only with a hat. With a hat, there is about a 1% chance of finding it, maybe slightly lower than that. So there's a lot of big numbers, and it has a 1 in it, so it's a rare item, but you can find it with a hat, but you cannot find it in the exceptional slot. Michelle says, I definitely got a rune without a hat. Well, let me make sure I'm not making an error here. Temporal Rune stat item, which is called the Time Split Rune. No, you need a hat to get it. You could have got a Time Split Charm or a Cog, which you can trade in Cogs for a rune, but you can't get the rune itself. So no Time Split Rune without hats confirmed, Dave? Yes, I am reading the code, the source code of that golem right now, and I do not see it in the exceptional slot. It's only in the hat slot. And let the speculation begin as everyone is convinced they have seen otherwise. I'll dig out my journal entry. All right, Michelle is convinced that she found one without a hat. I can even check. Oh dear, I shouldn't open up this program while streaming. This is going to be not very much RAM left on my computer, but we'll try. We'll try this out here. Because I'm confused too then. Wait, that's not it. Where's the Bristlewood's Rift? Bristlewood's Rift. Wait a minute. Bristlewood's Rift? Huh. Just found an interesting error, but I don't think it actually broke anything. Huh. Bristlewood's Rift. .php. Where are you? It's actually Rift Bristlewoods. Rift Bristlewoods Golem Rewards. Gonna go so far as to see the history of this file if it's ever even changed. Ooh, when was that? That was last month. No, it hasn't. It was not touched since this event went live, so I don't know. Read the info off Dave's glasses. Oh no. It's probably lots of glare. I'm sitting right next to a window. What is your editor of choice? I use Sublime Text as well as Coda. Sally has over 1,000 forgotten charms. Can I convert them into temporal shadow plates or essence of destructions? Well, technically yes. You can go get out your School of Sharks trap, which has a whole lot of power and luck. Arm your forgotten charms and do Minotaur runs, and you may convert them into Minotaur loot. They will certainly help you catch more mice, get more clues, avoid dead ends, and increase your chances of finding that loot. Is it possible to get sandblasted metal, Sphinx crystal, and Oasis bead from Hatted Golems to the Fiery Warpath? We're getting into loot table lookup mode. That could have been a good theme here. Where's the, no, what is it called? Is it called the Warpath? No. Yes, it is. Desert Warpath. Yes. Oh, that is rare, though. 6. Might be a 1 in 1,000 chance of finding sandblasted metal, Sphinx crystal, Oasis bead, but you can find portal cores and consoles, flame shards, and super brie in the hat. The exceptional slot, you pretty well always get flame shards, but there is a very long shot chance in the exceptional slot of finding Warmonger loot. Is the charm base be upgrade it in the future? I don't think I get what you're saying. Ryan looted a lot of ultimate charms. There's a decent chance of finding them. It's not beyond rare, but they're not too abundant. That said, if you have a good little handful of them, that may actually put them into the category or no longer of too good can't use. So sometimes it's nice to have, you know, like 10 or 20 of something that's really powerful, so you feel like, oh, maybe I can actually use up some of these. Whereas when I have one ultimate charm, I'm like, don't use it, I don't have any more. And you just never end up using this really amazing power-up. What are the plans for next year? Probably a little too early to go into too many details. We'll be rounding out event season in the start of the year. We'll certainly do Lunar New Year, as we touched on. Somebody else was asking about the Lunar Lantern. I think we'll probably repeat or do something very similar for Lunar New Year. Birthday, it's going to be our 10th birthday. That's really exciting. We'll probably do something big. I think Franco was already brainstorming event ideas, trying to think of something pretty large scale where we may even start working on it in January. The Spring Egg Hunt, perhaps a King's Giveaway in January, and then we're concepting a whole lot of, or doing a whole lot of concept work for the Archduke area that we would like to do next year, but it's nowhere near being ready to green light. Got a couple more questions and I'll wrap things up here in 3 minutes, and actually I have a trivia question as well, because what is Feedback Friday without a Larry reward link? I'll post that in a minute. I'll see if there's any more quick questions in the chat. You can field. Franco shop finally. I think it did. It was very it was themed off like trading in tickets or something, so it would kind of be like a Franco shop. Except I think it would have good stuff instead of rip-off items. Is Ikuri Essence obtainable? I do believe so. I think you need a hat to get an Ikuri Essence, but let me double check. That'll be the last loot drop table I'll look up here. What is it called? It's called the Desert City. No, that's Murday Market. All right. Desert Oasis. That's the Living Garden. Okay. In the hat slot, it does go all the way up to I, and I think there is a 1% chance of finding an I in the hat slot, but you cannot find an I in the exceptional slot. The best essence you could find in the exceptional slot is a G essence. I'm not going to even pretend to remember what the actual names of those essences are, and if you haven't clued in already, the essences, the first letter goes from A, B, C, D all the way up to I, and I is the best. So that's a way to remember the essences, even though they have kind of weird names. And on that note, we'll transition over to the trivia question, then I'll wrap things up here. This week's trivia question And somebody may have to double check my math because I did this really quick right at the start. How many ice shards do you need to upgrade a golem from level 1 to 10? So you have a level 10 or level 1 golem and you want to make it level 10. How many ice shards will that cost you? 47, 55, 48, 155, all much too low. 55, no, no, no. Blue is also incorrect, not a number. Jason with a 42. Everyone's much too low. You're starting with level 1 and you're going all the way to level 10. Oh, numbers are in the chat. Lots of numbers. Your hopes and dreams, says Swift. Oh, the chat's moving fast. There's a lot of numbers. 256. Nope, that was close though. I think. Somebody may have to double check my math. 264. Jason, I think, had it right. First, Jason Cassie. Somebody double check my math, but I believe the correct answer is 264. One plus 3 plus 5 plus 10 plus 15 plus 25 plus 40 plus 65 plus 100. Is that 260? What did I say? Wrote it down. 264. 264 is correct. All right. Ryan thinks it's 265. We'll ballpark it. It's somewhere between 250 and 300. It's 264, Dave. Checked. All right. It's been double checked, triple checked. 264 is correct. Reward link is in the chat. I'll see if I can make that appear on the video as well. How do I do that? Add text. Sure. Ooh, CPU fans turning on. Streaming is serious business for a computer. And where can I put this where it's at least somewhat legible? Let's go up there. There we go. Reward link. And this week's running gag joke. Yes, everyone in the chat pretending that they got something incredibly broken. One day it's actually going to happen, and I'm not even going to panic. That's it. What is the max golem level, asks Ben. There is no max. That said, it starts to get ridiculously expensive to upgrade your golem, so there's a theoretical max of how many ice shards you can collect in 4 weeks. When you get to level 15, it will cost 500 ice shards to upgrade to level 16, and then after that, every level is also 500 ice shards. So level 15 costs 500, 16 costs 500, 17 costs 500, to infinity and beyond. Everyone's freaking me out pretending they're getting temporal shadow plates from that reward link. Oh, it happened once, the ancient potions, says Skippo. Actually, that happened as well, the golems. I believe a tester caught that. You're getting ancient cheese instead of ancient string cheese from the Bristlewood's Rift. So that's a data entry error just waiting to happen, it seems. New Horizon upgrade. Thanks, Dave. Everyone's just trying to freak me out. Not falling for it. I clicked the link. I happen to know it's Winter Charms with bonus item of Let It Snow Charms. Here we go. Jay. Jay speaks the truth. Saying he got 3 Winter Charms. Can we have more of the fat golems? They are the best ones. Looks good with the Santa Claus face. Looks very jolly. All right, on that note, we will wrap things up, hunters. 42 minutes in here. Thank you for joining me. Remember that there will not be a Feedback Friday next week as our office will be closed, but we'll join you the following Friday, which I believe is January 5. Me opening up a calendar. Apparently taking far too long to find January. Yes, January 5 is in fact a Friday. The office will be open again, so most likely I'll be joining you, but there may be a chance it will be Jacob painting. Thank you for the Merry Christmas and holiday wishes. Same to you. Everyone enjoy your holiday or whatever your plans are for the next week or two, and we'll see you in 2 weeks from now. Happy hunting. Good luck in the great winter hunt, and we'll see you in 2 weeks. That was totally the wrong thing to put up. There we go.